Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here, and today's video is going to be sort of a public service address from me to you, because there has been a lot of misinformation that has come out in the last week. There's been a major gaming rumor that surfaced, which I'm going to put the stop to right now because the rumor in question is 100% false. But I've seen a lot of people down in the comments who maybe saw some headlines and got the wrong idea. I even had some friends contact me in real life saying, hey, Coach, is this true? Is this actually going to happen? So let me explain what I'm talking about, and I will tell you exactly why it is 100% wrong, and you can dismiss this rumor entirely. So over the last few days, you may have seen on YouTube several videos pop up, and you may have seen, if you were looking around online at games articles, there was a lot of articles written with the headline basically saying, Games Industry Analyst predicts Elder Scrolls 6 coming in 2019. And as soon as I saw this headline, I had an idea of where this sort of prediction would have come from. And I was not surprised to find out that this prediction came from Michael Pachter. Now, if you are not clear on who this guy is, let me give you a little bit of this guy's history. Michael Pachter has been around for well over a decade now, making predictions. People associate him with his gaming predictions. That's where we know him from. But he just works at a firm that sort of gives investors a roadmap to go by. He's a basic financial analyst. But people, because he talks about games, people have elevated him, especially the games media for some reason, has elevated this guy to the position where they treat what he says as probabilities rather than what they actually are, which is statistical improbabilities. Because you see, when it comes to his predictions about the games industry, this guy is wrong almost all of the time. This guy is a living embodiment of the phrase, even a broken clock is right twice a day. This guy makes the sort of predictions where he's almost always wrong, but then when he's right, people are like, oh, see, he was right about this. But he makes the sort of predictions he gets right are the simplest predictions you could possibly make. Stuff like, I predict that the PS4 will see a price cut in the next 2 years. Oh, will it? Wow. Thanks, dude. Needed a crystal ball for that. He's the sort of guy who has predicted the downfall of console gaming for over a decade. First, it was, PS3 and Xbox 360 generation is definitely the last one. And then it was PS4, Xbox One. Those are definitely the last one. And then even 2 years ago in 2017, he was predicting the downfall of Sony if they didn't move all of their exclusive titles onto other platforms. So, I mean, this guy, he predicted the downfall of Nintendo in 2006, saying they would be completely out of the hardware game after the launch of the Wii. I mean, this guy, his history of being correct is non-existent. This guy makes horrendous predictions. One of his predictions for 2019 is that this is bold. Ubisoft will have 4 AAA releases this year. Wow. Hold on, let me pick my socks up because I just have them blown off. Ubisoft will have 4 AAA titles this year, and let me tell you exactly how out of touch this guy actually is. He listed the games that he thought Ubisoft would be releasing in 2019 that would fit this AAA mold, and he didn't name The Division 2. That wasn't included in his predictions of AAA games from Ubisoft this year. So that should just show you how far this guy has no concept of what he's talking about. And this week he made the prediction that because Fallout 76 was such a failure for Bethesda, that they would be rushing the release for Elder Scrolls 6 and that it would be coming out in 2019. Now, there is a number of reasons why this is wrong. First of all, let me point out something that is pretty hilarious. This is the third year this guy has predicted this. That's right, he predicted this in 2017 and in 2016. He's been saying Elder Scrolls 6 is coming basically every year. So at some point, he's going to be right, and then he'll be like, I predicted the year it was coming out. Yes. But you can't predict the same thing every year and then shake your finger victoriously when it actually happens. Same thing he does. This is what he does when it comes to price cuts. He predicts price cuts for consoles for years and years, and then when it finally happens, he's like, oh, I nailed that one. This guy has no concept about the games industry. If you think that it's possible for Bethesda to just rush the release of this game and move it up by years at a time just because Fallout 76 was a failure, that just shows a shocking lack of knowledge about the games industry from a guy that, again, the games media, you will see games journalists treat this guy like he's some sort of guru with his predictions. It's mind-blowing that anyone gives this guy any credence. Now, if you can be forgiven if you saw all the headlines this week, because there was a lot of clickbaity titles that said, "Oh, Games Industry Analyst predicts Elder Scrolls 6 in 2019. I saw a ton of videos. And as soon as I saw it, I knew it was garbage. And the people putting up those headlines, if they know about Michael Pachter's history, then they know they're putting up a clickbaity title. And if they don't know about his history and they believe what he's saying, then they're even more foolish. Because there is absolutely no way that this game is coming out in 2019. For starters, we already know that Starfield is coming out before Elder Scrolls 6. We also know, anyone who has even the faintest concept of game development knows, you can't just rush a release for a major title like this. Just push it up 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Because the timetable we were given points to more of a 2023-2024 window for Elder Scrolls 6. And that's coming from Bethesda themselves. Now, I've said many times, and I'll stand by this, Bethesda lies all the time. But one thing they've never lied about is saying something is coming at one point and then they released it sooner. They've never come out sooner. They've had stuff that they said was coming at one time and then it came out much later. But never once can you point to something where Bethesda promised this was going to come on this date and then they moved it up by 2 years instead. That's never happened. And never will happen. So just because Bethesda has a spotty history with telling the truth, that doesn't in any way signal that they're lying about the timetable for Elder Scrolls 6. So, even my buddy Pete Hines said, they've been saying for a while that they had 2 more games that they were going to release before Elder Scrolls 6. Now, Fallout 76 is one of those, and Starfield is the other. They're not just going to switch around the production on the 2 games now because Fallout 76 failed. And in fact, I couldn't think of a possible or stupider thing to do than to launch Elder Scrolls 6 right now, this year, after the debacle of Fallout 76. At least we need a couple of years to cleanse the palate for the majority of fans. Now, I'm not going to forget, I'm sure there is going to be several people that, millions of people that probably just wave Fallout 76 under the bridge and say, you want to know what? I'll roll the dice with the next one. I'm not going to forget when it comes time for them to start marketing the game about the debacle that 76 was. I'm not going to forget about that, but I'm sure many people will. But you certainly aren't going to be able to push this game out the door next year in what would clearly be a rushed state and expect people to not remember Fallout 76. They would be even stupider than I already think they are if they did that. They're not doing that. And like I said, the fact of the matter is you can't just wave a magic wand and speed up production of a game like that. This sort of prediction, and the fact that so many game media outlets started running with this story is mind-blowing. It shows you that none of these journalists put any critical thought into what they're actually thinking. I only read a couple of articles that discussed the fact that this was 100% a false rumor. There was only a couple. Most of the articles that I saw we're just going along with it like this guy knows what he's talking about. Let me help everyone. Michael Pachter has no clue what he's talking about. This guy does a podcast talking about games. And he has no concept what he's talking about. Your average YouTube commenter has more knowledge than Michael Pachter. So, anyone who may have seen these headlines and got confused by it, I apologize if you were confused, but let me help you out. If you ever see Michael Pachter's name attached to any gaming rumor, assume that it's wrong. Because the amount of times that he's been right is very low. And the amount of times he's been right about stuff that was sort of a bold prediction is almost zero. The only time this guy hits is on the simplest, easiest to predict sort of rumors you could possibly come across. I mean, once again, this guy said that Sony was going to be dead by 2019 if they didn't put all their games onto Xbox and Microsoft. Nintendo going to die. No more hardware sales from Nintendo. Consoles are going to be dead in 2012. Oh, they're going to be dead in 2013. Oh, they're going to be dead in 2014. Definitely by 2019, consoles are dead. And now, of course, he's been proven wrong again and again And again, just one more industry analyst who has no clue what he's talking about. So please, don't take any of his rumors seriously. Please. If you ever see this guy's name, assume it's wrong. And I will 100% guarantee that The Elder Scrolls 6 will not be released in 2019. And to any YouTube channel who put that in their headline, thanks for reinforcing viewers' perception that people just put up clickbait titles for no reason, because that is the ultimate clickbait title. Anyone who doesn't know that Michael Pachter is full of it, you probably shouldn't be making YouTube videos to begin with, because you are woefully uninformed if you believe anything this guy says. Anyway, that's it from me, Coach Toolshed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Please subscribe if you want to stay in tune with the channel headed forward, and as always, keep it turned to 11.